right, all praise to the Most High for this chance to come to you with new information and uh, a chance to enter into a series of commentary videos based off of information that I've been studying. And once again, all praise to the Most High Yahweh and to His Son, my brother, Amashiach Yahweh Shai, for this chance to make this entry and to clarify or to put a better understanding on certain memes that are out on the internet. And so I'm gonna read the scripture and then I'm gonna share the meme and comment on it, and I'll break that down. Exodus 11:7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. That's the scripture that is on top of the meme. So we're gonna go to the meme. This is the meme. So here on this meme we have Exodus 11:7 at the top, and then we have at the bottom the caption definition of Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary definition of him, and it's overall explaining that him being the youngest child of Noah, being a dark progenitor, and then you should understand if him being the youngest and the other two brothers should be as well dark, meaning all the races of people have ancestry of father lineages of dark races of people, but these are all separate, different races of people that break down into nations. 18 nations of people on the planet. So we have on the chart, on the meme, we have Denzel Washington, a famous African American actor, and then we have a well-known comedic, Michael Blackson, and he sometimes acts, but often he do stand up. So we have on both of the guys, we have DNA groups. Both of these groups are from the same haplogroup, but different subclades. The haplogroup is the ancestor, the original ancestor of the group, and then the subclade is the breakdown extension from that progenitor into a separate nation or nationality of people. And so we have that feature on this meme. So well, I don't think I'm gonna get into that yet. I do that next time. So we basically have on this meme for Denzel Washington, Negro man, DNA type E1B1A. This part of the meme is very accurate. It's basic and it's just telling you a limited amount of information. E1B1A is not just black people DNA because we have several races or groups of dark races of people that would fit under the umbrella of being black people. So if they would have just said, um, African American, West African, Bantu, uh, Shemitic, Hebrew Israelite lineages of E1B1A, they'll go beyond the point of what is needed to be exposed about Y DNA. They just want to give you a limited, a very limited amount of information, and then keep all the rest in secrecy and in the dark for them to know and them to, rearrange history and science and everything else in this society so they could continue to rule for another 1,000 years. So this E1B1A branch of the E haplogroup is actually the Shemitic group of Israel DNA. And so this would be a group of people that are living today in West Africa and in southern parts of Africa. And the DNA pool starts in the Great Lake region of Africa, near the eastern part of East Africa. So the understanding of the E1B1A being in East Africa in the Great Lake region is for several reasons, because we was born in that whole area. Our people lived there for a long time, you know, in the Levant region and in the Nile Valley region. So the Great Lakes is the source to the Nile. So you will have to have that connection. The people that are in Israel and in the Middle East came later, and that's a fact. So they was placed there. So the those groups that are coming after this alphabetical numeric DNA system was obviously placed there. And when you see the Y DNA charting, you'll find out that those people that live in the Middle East are mostly the same group of Caucasian people. They are not Edomites. They are not Shemitic people. Those are Japhetic people living in the Middle East. So back to the topic of the mean. And then you have Hamitic man, the DNA type E1B1B. They put that on Michael Blackson. Michael Blackson, if you check his Wikipedia page, he's a Ghanaian. So most of those people in Ghana and the west coast of Africa are Bantu people under this umbrella of a language of just, overall stating that these are, different races of people in Africa from the Cushitic people, the Hamites. So Michael Blackson is actually an Israelite. He would definitely, probably, most likely be an Israelite due to the sample pools that are available to us. All those people that are in Ghana, Benin, Togo, at least in that section, are heavily populated with Israelite DNA of E1B1A. So this also, the E1B1B is not a Hamitic signature for DNA for the uh, paternal uh, groups. E1B1B is actually the Edomite line of people. So they messed up on this, and so what's gonna happen is you you have to question. They gave Hamitic DNA for both of these groups when both of these groups are Shemitic people. You just can't use the same haplogroup to jump from a nationality into a whole nother race of people, and that's what is going on with this meme. These are basically a split of the progenitor of Isaac, because Isaac had twins. So you have Jacob and Esau, Israel and Edom. So the E1B1B is Edom, and this is found in East Africa and the Horn of Africa, mostly in the east end of Ethiopia. So we come to this understanding that there's people in Somalia, Eritrea, uh, even Yemen, and Ethiopia, and some parts of the Sudan, and parts of Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco, and Africa. And in these parts, there's a group of people that are non-Cushitic people. They are not Hamitic people. They are not Japhetic Caucasian people. Japhetic Caucasian people are there, but these people are not those people. Some of those people are mixed, but they are not what you are thinking they are, you know. And these people, they cleverly use the umbrella terminology to hide their identity, the same way Caucasian people would do. And you could tell that they do have an alliance, that alliance of Psalms 83 with them, because these these groups eventually you'll find out that they created uh, groups of white people. So there's two groups of dark races of people that have dark people and pale skinned people among them. So that's the main understanding that I wanted to break down with you or to you in this meme. This E1B1B would be Edom, and Edom would be these non-Cushitic Ethiopian types groups with this ruddy brown skin complexion to a light brown skin complexion, and that's in Africa. And then they do light it up in regions in North Africa. They become pale, and then once you get into Europe, they are pale skinned people. They are in Greece mostly, and in Albania regions, and they are among the former Yugoslavian states as well. And those people, there's an irony. Those people in the former Yugoslavia area, some of them know that they are Edom, Um, I work with a Edomite lady that is very aware of the history, and we got into a conversation, and without her telling me too much information, I already knew because I like to trap people when I get into a conversation in which I need to get information. I like to trap people, and I trapped her, and I know for a fact she's not a original blonde haired lady. And I looked, I worked with this lady for a long time, and I could see in her eyes that she's not, Caucasian. She's this new type of white person that is a Edomite, and we got into an interesting conversation because we was debating over a identity of a customer we had, and I was making fun of another coworker, and I was saying that the person is from her country, and everybody's like, no, he looks like this, he looks like that, and somebody said he looks like a gypsy. Well, I know a lot about different peoples and DNA pools, and I was like, I don't think he's a gypsy, but I let them get involved with that conversation, the topic, and I threw out a name, a group of people, and the lady knew the group, and I say, oh, it clicked to my mind, and I was like, okay, let's see how far we go with this topic. So, um, we sort of both gave each other that look to say, oh, we know where we're going with that. So, Edom do have a dark race and a white race of people, or two types of people with different colors in their grouping. So for him DNA would be B, white DNA group B, and the person that would line up with that picture that is famous that did do a sample of his DNA would be Chris Rock. I think Chris Rock would be like a B2 something, B2A. I couldn't remember, but I think he's a B something. But the B groups would be uh, the same concept of the E groups. Basically, it'll have branches going all the way down the whole generational ladder of Ham and Canaan and all the other groups. So we have this mean just trying to. I guess somebody did this because I'm sure in the early days of the DNA setting, um, there was one brother that did videos, and he sort of was like me, and like most of us, was limited with information that we needed to know on the DNA front. But it was a need to know that E1B1A at least was being labeled as a Hermetic group, and E1B1A was found as a Hebraic West African and Southern African cultural based group with people that was carrying oral history of being uh, typed from Israel, and they left Israel. So that was the overall understanding that this brother had, and he couldn't at the time articulate the whole other part to it. But later on, after me seeing his research, I had to further my understanding, and I had to heavily study. Like before I got into the DNA stuff, I was doing physical traits and other stuff, and those are the hardest things to study and to get into. And I made my mistakes because at the time I was still learning both. I was still learning Torah, the gospel. I was still learning all the prophecies. I was still learning our history, other people's science, current event. So I wasn't well aware, or I wasn't, mentally up to par to understand exactly what he was pointing to and getting to. I just knew that the overall statement of a lot of terminology that a lot of Israelite camps and brothers and sisters in Israel, the terms that we use are often just umbrella terminologies of group of people that are very similar to these people in the region, but they are not those original groups of people, and they are coming into a a setting of just being last minute participant of a language and a culture, and they are just, you know, breaking even to fit in. So this is what we have on this meme now. And once again, we have both of these groups being from the E haplotype group. Michael Blackson is not him. He's Israelite. He would have an E1B1A being from Ghana. Denzel Washington, he would most likely have an E1B1A being an African American man. Some African Americans are another group of black people. Not all, but some are. And eventually we'll get into that for another discussion. But this is a commentary that I really wanted to get into. And the next one would be something similar in the same nature of context. This E1B1A and E1B1B and this Helm setting. We have to get used to all the races of people, of all the original progenitors are still dark races of people. The Caucasian white people and the Shemitic white people are these newer groups of people that just came about. And with DNA, they're just trying to rewrite the history. So all these groups that just came to be are perfectly placed to get away with crimes. And that's why I wanted to explain and to get out into the understanding of our people. So we have to know that not just Ham is a dark race, but Edom is also dark. And we have to remember that. And Ishmael would be the same as Ham and our people. Ishmael is not those people in Saudi Arabia. Like those people are named Arab people too. Arabs, Bedouin, Berber people, and those are just Caucasian people. And we'll get into that later on. And I'm gonna cut this rant short. Thank you for this chance to expound on this information. Hopefully, edified somebody. Hopefully, um, other people can help me further my study. I don't want to be alone in this information passing or gaining. I want to share, but I want to gain as well. Um, and please, you know, leave information, leave whatever. I'm very open with the information and the feedback. Thank you once again. All praise to the Most High and to His Son, Amashiach Yahushai. And thank you to my brothers and sisters of the Israelite blood and seed. Peace.